Your live interactive Weather Authority coverage will begin shortly. Your live interactive Weather Authority coverage will begin shortly. Your live Weather Authority coverage starts right now.
Good evening, everyone. Hope everybody's having a nice evening. It's finally here. We've been talking about it for about 10 days now. We're talking about that Arctic cold. It's not just the cold that we're tracking, it's the wind. So easily probably the coldest we've had in 5 years, going back to January 2018. But factor in the wind, and we could be talking about wind chills that will wind chills like we haven't had in decades. So this is something we'll be watching pretty closely. I don't think we'll break many temperature records. Mount Washington may break their all-time temperature record, but it looks like here at the ground level, probably just be too windy for that. But we could be breaking wind chill value records, which, wind chill value records are a little interesting because they're unofficial and they're kind of tricky to dig up. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit here. But let's waste no time. Let's jump into it. We don't have a ton of time. It's already 8 o'clock. You probably want to get along with your evening here. Let's take a look at what we have for our headlines. No real changes from headlines yesterday. We have, I was trying to get the arrow. There is the arrow. Daytime temps tomorrow dip into the single numbers. Daytime temps on Saturday will climb into the single numbers. So single digits, 0 to 10. Lows tomorrow night. We're talking about Friday night, Saturday morning lows. 10 to 20 degrees below zero, area wide. And the wind is going to be the big story here because wind chills during most of this period, late tomorrow night, Saturday morning, will be about 30 to 45 degrees below zero for southern and central Maine. There'll be spots in the mountains that dip to about 50 to 55 degrees below zero. So there will be colder wind chills primarily in the mountains here. But this is going to be pretty extreme as far as the wind chills go. So it's one of those days tomorrow and again Saturday, at least during the morning. Indoor activity is probably a good idea. I saw that some ski resorts are opening. I was surprised to see that. I know some of them have closed. Mount Abram already checked in and said, yeah, we're closing for Saturday. But I think Sugarloaf checked in to say they're going to have minimal operations on Saturday. But with that said, the afternoon Saturday, the wind is going to drop off. So the wind will get a little bit better very late in the day. Regardless, though, we're still talking about some pretty serious temperatures. All right, finally, it's here. Man, I feel like we've had so many Friday storms. We've had Friday storms, and it just makes for long weeks. And in this situation, we have a Friday cool down. And this makes for a long week because every single broadcast, all we've been talking about is how cold it's going to get. Rightfully so, though. I mean, this is some serious cold. And that cold front is, let's take a look where it is this evening. That is right in there. That's a serious looking boundary that's moving into our area tonight. It's moving into the St. Lawrence Valley. And that's just the boundary between those low 30s we had today and those temperatures around zero we're going to get tomorrow afternoon. So again, it's not just the temperatures that are going to make this a big deal. It's also the wind factored into it. Just pretty much the same graphic we had earlier as a Friday, Saturday situation. By Sunday, we'll have some melting. Temps will be in the 30s on Sunday. So Sunday's the day to get out this weekend. Daytime temps 0 to 10, minus 10 to minus 20 for lows, and wind chills will be 30 to 45 degrees below zero. It will be colder in the mountains for wind chills. That's what you need to dress for if you can. Usually we say that because that's when you combine air temperature and wind speed. That's how it feels in your skin. That's why we show you a wind chill temperature here. All right, let's talk about the timing of this. I want to first outline the temperatures. These next two graphics are going to be very important here because I want to show you first the temperatures. And second, I want to talk about the wind chill values. This is 11:30 tonight, and this is the front that we just outlined for you. Check out the temps. We're still in the 20s, and we're probably going to stay in the low 20s as we go into about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. So tonight's actually going to be warmer than where we were last night, at least through 1 o'clock in the morning. But notice those temperatures. Pay attention to these real closely because we're going to go from 2 o'clock in the morning, temps around 20 degrees, to about 10:30 in the morning. This is 11 o'clock in the morning with temps around zero. So it's going to come in very quickly here. It's going to be one of those where the wind picks up and temperatures will be falling a few degrees an hour for several hours here. So we're going to have temperatures probably around zero for a lot of towns by midday tomorrow. Factor in the wind. Winds will be gusting around 30 to 35 miles per hour. And that's going to give us wind chills probably around 15 to 30 degrees below zero during the afternoon. So it really ramps up tomorrow, and it probably hits its peak tomorrow night into Saturday morning. In that window right there, that's when we're going to get our peak wind gusts. And we're probably going to get our coldest wind chills as well. So 1 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, this is an interesting thing I want to show you here. This is a forecast model. It does a pretty good job, and I think it outlines what I want to talk about here. But notice the temperatures. This seems pretty accurate. I think we're probably going to be about 10 to 20 degrees below zero for southern and central Maine. In the mountains, will be colder than 20 degrees below zero. But as we go from 1 o'clock in the morning to about 7 o'clock in the morning, notice how these temperatures warm up just a little bit. And I think that's the model's way of trying to tell us that the wind is picking up. What's happening here, I used to use this all the time when I worked on Mount Washington. We have the tropopause, which is basically the top of our atmosphere that our weather doesn't really penetrate. And when it gets really, really cold, the tropopause will actually lower to, in this case, a pretty extreme level. So what that does is that enhances some of the wind speeds, because the wind is nowhere to go. It just, it's basically in a large volume, and it's flowing into a much smaller volume because the atmosphere is thinner at that point. So what's happening, I think the model's trying to pick up on this, which is kind of cool. The air temperature tries to warm up a little bit just by a few degrees as the wind starts to pick up. So it actually gets worse as the temperatures may warm 2 or 3 degrees, because the winds will be stronger, and that will yield a colder wind chill. And I'll show you that in just a second here. I think wind chills early Saturday will probably peak around 35 to maybe 45 degrees below zero for a large portion of the area. And I have some records for you to show you as well, some of the numbers to keep an eye on. This is 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday. Hey, it's a slow climb into the single digits. Now, if your plans take you outdoors on Saturday, the morning is not great. The afternoon, however, the wind starts to drop off. I think before sunset, I think it's bearable enough that you can go out for, walk the dog or do whatever you need to do, because temps will be in the single digits, and that wind is not going to be gusting to 30 miles per hour anymore. It's going to be quite a bit lighter. So you have my blessing late in the day on Saturday. I'm going to try to get out at least a little bit here on Saturday, but the morning is not going to be great. I think the afternoon on Friday is going to be more extreme than the afternoon on Saturday. I think that the morning on Saturday is going to be more extreme than the morning on Friday. So there it is. It's going to be an interesting setup. Let's take you into Saturday night and into Sunday now. It's all over. Look at this. We're back in the 30s. Oh, wait a minute. It just disappeared. I got to go back. Hold on. That was supposed to be a dramatic pause, but it's not. There it is. 30s for highs on Sunday. So by lunchtime on Sunday, we're probably looking at some melting. So this is pretty extreme, going from 10 to 20 below with dangerous wind chills to 30s for highs on Sunday. So Sunday's the day to get out. Let's talk wind chills now. Now, this is the other important piece of the puzzle I want to pay attention to. This is 1 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow. Let's remember, the wind is picking up tomorrow. The temperatures are dropping significantly throughout the day tomorrow. So the wind chills will probably be about 10 to 20, maybe 15 to 30 degrees below zero as soon as early afternoon tomorrow. And that's not the worst of it. The worst gets going tomorrow night and into Saturday morning. I think we'll reach our peak wind chills probably in the pre-dawn hours or right around sunrise on Saturday. 8 p.m. on Friday. Again, wind chill is just the combination of wind speed and air temperature. That's how it feels in your skin. Normally, we would say these are the temperatures you need to dress for. But let's be realistic. I mean, can you dress for temperatures like this? I don't know. There was one day I went out. I was working at the Mount Washington Observatory. This is years ago. And the air temperature was, I think it was 30 degrees below zero. And the wind was gusting to 120 miles per hour. And I went out to get what we call the precipitation can. It was out in the center of the summit. And I was outside for maybe 5 minutes. And I had a face mask on, goggles on, hood on, a couple jackets. I had 2 little spots showing on my cheek right there. I was outside for just a few minutes, and I got frostnip. And those little spots scarred over, and I looked like a doofus for about 3 months. So be mindful of that. If your plans do take you out and about, it's one of those just got to cover everything up. but you can dress for it. I mean, face masks, jackets. I mean, it's possible here. Now, 5 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. And remember, we talked about that tropopause lowering stuff, and then the winds picking up later on Friday night, Saturday morning. So while the air temperature might actually get less cold, I hate to say warming up, get less cold by a few degrees, the wind chill value is going to drop because we're increasing the wind. So we're probably talking about wind chills of about 35 to 45 degrees below zero. So there you go. I think that's going to be our peak, somewhere in there. Now, notice in the mountains, we're talking about wind chill values up in here of about 50 to 55 degrees below zero. I mean, I think to get to 60 degrees below zero, we have to get out of the valleys. I mean, we're talking mountaintops. Mount Washington will get wind chills of 100 below. Of course, they're 6,000 feet, and they have the worst weather on the planet up there. But 2 o'clock in the afternoon Saturday, notice the wind chills are less cold, and that's because the wind is dropping off. Air temps are climbing into the single numbers. And I think we're probably in the upper single digits at the coast, but this is much more bearable. I really think it is. Like, if you're going to get out, I'm going to try to get out and do some cross-country skiing maybe Saturday. I say that now because I'm in a warm studio, and it's on what is today? Thursday night? Yeah, Thursday night. And I may take a double take and say, nah, I'm not going out. We'll see. But a good day to, indoor activities, Friday, Saturday, you do some cooking, or talked to a nice viewer yesterday, and she said, she's a painter. So I'm going to do some painting. That's a good idea. Why not, right? Inside activities. All right, so 7-day forecast. These numbers, I mean, we talked about this yesterday. That 5 is probably late morning, midday. That 9 on Saturday is late in the day. I mean, it's pointless to show highs because the high is going to be midnight tonight. And so I'm trying to reflect an actual temperature during the day. But 14, 15 degrees below zero tomorrow night should do it for nighttime temperature. That's not the wind chill. That's the air temp. In inland areas, there they are. Temperatures are similar. Those red icons, that's our way of saying, heads up, we have some pretty extreme wind chills. That's our weather warn day for tomorrow and Saturday. Now, Sunday, lots of clouds around. There might be a snow shower, especially north. I think most of the action stays to our north. Now, Monday will feature a lot of sun. Tuesday, let's go back to coastal areas. I think Tuesday will feature rain showers late in the day or at night. It's crazy to think about. We're talking rain showers here with temperatures around 40 degrees. And go back to inland areas. There might be a little bit of mix, being some snow or mix late Tuesday night. The sun returns on Wednesday, mid 40s. How about that? I think, what's the date today? I think the SAP's going to run next week. I bet it will. If you like to make maple syrup, I bet the SAP starts running next week. It kind of has that look to it. But we're also talking about some rain and mountain mix moving in on Thursday. I got to fix that. Rain and mountain mix. But we will fix that. We are looking at overall a warmer setup going into the forecast next week. Not tomorrow and not on Saturday. 2 days that are going to be pretty extreme as far as temperatures and wind chills go. All right, so let's talk about wind chill values for a moment here. If you're following along at home and you want to watch some of the records, these are a pain in the butt to look up. I'll tell you what, because wind chill records are unofficial, and then it's one of those deals where you have to look it up. Iowa State site has you can look at you can look at daily wind chills for records, but then yearly wind chill records, but then you have to go back and double check the dates, and it's one of those deals. But then you can get hourly wind chill. So anyway, I think I've got it now. These are your top 5, I think, wind chills, coldest wind chills going back to 1948. And these are unofficial, and at the very least, they're close. I got it down to 1/10 of a degree, I think. But January 19th is the one to beat. I don't know if we're going to get that in Portland. It'll be close, but I don't think we're going to get it. Yesterday, I was thinking Larry Bird, 33 degrees below zero. I think it's going to be colder than that now. We'll have to see. 1963, December 31st, New Year's Eve. How's that? January 23rd, 1976, another one, 37 degrees below zero, 81. January 4th, 1981. And January 15th, 1957, 36 degrees below zero. There's one more, I think it was 1954. There was a date in 1954. It was also 36 degrees below zero for a wind chill, but I couldn't fit it on because I only had 5 slots here, but they were all 36 degrees below zero. But I don't want to forget that 1954 date as well. Now, coldest February wind chills, if you want to follow monthly records, these are a little more straightforward. February 3rd, 1971, 37 below zero. I think we have a shot at the monthly record. I think we do. We'll have to see. And it'll probably be early Saturday morning. I think Mount Washington has a shot at the coldest all-time temperature. I think is it 46 degrees below zero, 43 degrees below zero? I have to look it up. I think it might be 46 degrees below zero. I should know that. But yeah, we'll have to look that up. I'll make a graphic for it later. We also have, so these are the numbers, basically, if you're following along at home. So we'll continue to monitor that here. So that was kind of fun to look up. But these are unofficial. They don't go back to the data set that begins at 1941. 1941 was when the jetport was built. So this data set actually goes back to 1948. So still a pretty big data set. And notice a lot of these dates here, February dates, and then the all-time dates, nothing recent. Right. So there we go. A lot of 60s, 70s in there, 1981 reading. So if you're just joining us on Facebook Live, Twitter, YouTube, let's go back real quick and let's walk through. I want to walk through the temperature setup one more time with you, and then we'll answer some questions. 11 o'clock tonight, we're in the 20s. There's the front swinging through. You might get a snow shower, a squall, especially in the mountains. By 11 a.m., we're probably around zero for a lot of areas. Tomorrow night, we're dipping to 10 to 20 below for an air temperature. Arctic sea smoke gets going out in the ocean. There's ocean effect snow. It's all going to be to our east because the wind's out of the northwest, right? But with the wind too, I don't think Arctic sea smoke is a hard time getting going when you have the strong winds. So I don't think it's ideal for photographing Arctic sea smoke, but we'll have to see if that pans out. I give the photographers a lot of credit. There's a lot of cold hands when you're out photographing some of that Arctic sea smoke. 7 o'clock in the morning, Saturday, we're below zero, and a slow climb into the single digits by afternoon on Saturday there. So a quick look at wind chills again. We're probably 15 to 30 below at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, combining air temperature and wind speed. That's how it feels in your skin. 8 o'clock at night, we're about 30 to 40 below, and it's probably 35 to 45 degrees below zero for our max wind chills. And again, that will be early in the morning on Saturday. There'll be spots in the mountains that will be colder. It's pretty extreme. It really is. We don't get this that often. So it's one of those where we'll probably need indoor activities and see how that plays out. What's the record wind chills in Augusta? Josh says. I don't know that. You know what? I could look it up. I stuck to Portland. The thing with Augusta, Josh, is we don't have a long data set for Augusta. The Portland data set goes back to 1941, but I'm not sure how long Augusta goes back. But yeah, I'm not quite sure. Augusta, it'll be blowing up there. All right, what's the temperature look like in Bremen tomorrow? Well, looks like the temperature tomorrow will be dipping into the single digits, Josh, and it should be wind chills will probably be 30 to 15 to 30 below by afternoon. So it's going to get cold. Tomorrow night's the most extreme there as well. Mid-coast Maine, you'll be most extreme. Let's see. The Arctic cold front, Travis says. Yes, minus 15. Ouch, Amy says. You're right, Amy. How come it gets very, very cold for 2 days and it warms up after? Yeah, you're right. This is very unique in that sense. It's not like February of 2015 where it stays cold the entire month. This is a direct discharge from the Arctic Circle, and then it just warms up really quickly. It just comes down and moves out. Every now and then we get that. We had one like this in 2016. Not quite as cold. Mark said, oh, hey, Mark, how are you? Mark's my buddy. We should have fun tomorrow and Saturday. Are you coming to Maine, Mark? Is that when you're coming up? Well, if you are, you should have some fun. It is going to get cold, but just dress for it. Mark's a pretty tough guy. I have no doubt he's gonna be just fine. All right. Josh says, dang, New Hampshire, stay inside. You'll turn to Jack Frost. Yeah, stay inside. Good idea. And dogs too. You take the dog out to the bathroom or something, and then it's one of those, bring them back inside. Josh wants to work on the car. A little cold to be working outside. It's one thing if you can put mittens on, but if you have to actually work outside, it's really hard to do. And I give folks a lot of credit that work outdoors. I used to work outdoors in 2005. I remember I was siding a house, and the high was 5, and a metal nail gun, of course. And you need your fingers for that. And I just remember that was probably as cold as my hands have ever been. And that's when I said, okay, I gotta go do more weather forecasting, get an indoor job. But yeah, it's for folks that work outdoors. That's something else. Rest up, take a lot of breaks, get warm, I should say. That's what we're trying to say. Coffee breaks, perhaps. All right. If you're out there 15 minutes, you will stay indoors. All right. Jane says, hi. Hi, Judy. Oh, everybody's talking to each other. I like it. All right. I'm just going through the comments here. I'm not reading these ahead of time. I apologize. Will I get frostbite on my face, Charlie? Josh says, I hope not. I hope not. I mean, it's something to take seriously. Just, if you go outside, wear a face mask. But try to stay indoors. That's probably a good bet. Use common sense in this kind of cold. I mean, it's not the kind of cold you want to mess around with. What about 7 a.m.? Cameron says 7 a.m. Oh, we can get you 7 a.m. Why not? 7 a.m. There we go. There's your wind chill, 7 a.m. How's that? And you want the air temperature at 7 a.m., Cameron? We can get you that as well. There it is. 7:30. There's your air temp. That seems about right. Remember, if you're just joining us, I was talking about how it might actually get less cold for a few hours just before sunrise because the wind picks up. Notice this model projects the coldest around 1 a.m. But that's not a good situation because it gets colder, but the wind picks up and you get colder wind chills when that happens. So hope that answers your question, Cameron. Let's see here. Will the roads be slippery? Josh says, nope. No, we're in good shape. Oh, there's an Arctic front moving through tonight. You might get a snow squall with that. In the mountains especially, you might get a little slippery, but after that, we're in good shape. Wind gusts. Gusts to 35 miles per hour, Connor. Yeah, we haven't talked much about wind gusts. 30, it's sustained probably around 20 miles per hour starting tomorrow, goes into tomorrow night and into Saturday morning. Wind drops off Saturday afternoon. And we'll get frequent gusts around 35 miles per hour. So serious wind, even if we, it would be a windy day, even if we didn't have cold temperatures. And it would be a big deal there. Hello, Beth. Hello to you. Hello to Joanne. Hi, Linda. Good evening, Barbie. Hello to you as well. Could you please turn off the fan? Ha, I like it. Very funny. It's windy. It's going to get windy. 7 a.m. Lewiston tomorrow, Cameron says. All right. Let's go with you're probably dropping into the single numbers. It's one of those at 7 a.m. tomorrow, the temperature is going to be dropping 5 degrees per hour. How's that? So between 5 a.m. and about 10 a.m., you're going to go 4 or 5 degrees every hour. So that's what we're talking about here. All right. I think I got to everyone's question. We did it, I think. A lot of questions tonight. I appreciate that. Josh has a lot of questions. What's all good questions, Josh? I like it. What's the hottest temperature on record? 103. We got to almost 100. We got to 100 in 2011. That was the last time I cooked an egg on my wife's car in that hot streak we had. I remember that. That was fun. Oh, we cooked brownies in the dashboard too. It's hard to believe, one of the things I try to drive home when I visit the kids in school is say, where else in the world can it get 100 degrees in summertime? We can get below zero in wintertime. This same place can get a blizzard, a hurricane, and a tornado. And the kids, they think about all these cool places on the earth. And I say, hell. And then it's kind of a trick question because I'm talking about specifically right here in Maine. And it's, I just want to drive home that we live in a very special place because where else in the world do you get this unique weather where, it gets up to 100 degrees and then it gets down to about 20 below, and then you get a blizzard, hurricane, and a tornado. School should be remote, Elizabeth says. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I have mixed feelings on that. I don't know. My daughter's school was canceled for heat a few years ago. It got too hot. I don't know. I'm going to pull the old man when I was a kid card, but it should be remote if, buses can't start and that kind of thing. That's serious. But heating systems are working fine. And I don't know. Middle schoolers sometimes have a problem wearing jackets. Sometimes I have noticed that. So maybe and this is something to take serious. So send the kids to school with a jacket, hats, and gloves. Hopefully they wear it tomorrow. I hope there's no power outage chance. There shouldn't be. I don't think the wind's going to be that strong, Connor, but I guess can't rule that out. What will the wind be gusting? Yeah, up to 35 miles per hour, northwest, Christina. And that comes through probably during the pre-dawn hours. Lacey says her daughter's school canceled for the cold. They'll be doing remote. I'm not surprised. All right. Christine says, any advice for school kids? Yes. Okay. I'm glad somebody asked me this because I think school kids, I think they should go to school. I think, put some snow pants on or you can wear long underwear underneath your pants and, put their jacket on and hats, mittens, and send them on the bus. Yeah. Because it'll actually be colder when they get off the bus tomorrow. Just mindful of that. And, but yeah, they're going to school tomorrow, I think. Don't forget heated blankets. I like it. Those must be. I'm not, I don't use heated blankets. I'd like to try one though. What's the word on New England airports? Dell says, I have not heard anything on airports. I think there's Thurigo. We haven't heard anything about that. Tanya says she missed the record low in Portland. Okay, so we're talking about record wind chill lows. Let's go look at that. It was 41 degrees below zero for a wind chill. And we can look at it right here. So if you're playing along at home, these are the numbers to beat. Hold on. There it is right there. 41 below. Right. And we're probably going to get some wind chills 30 to 40 below. So it's in jeopardy. Mount Washington air temperature is actually in jeopardy as well. All right. I said I wouldn't take too much time, but I feel like I did tonight. And I still looks like there's still about 80 people on here. So I appreciate everybody hanging out this evening. I'm going to go get a quick bite to eat. We'll have some new data coming up at 10. We'll be on Fox 23 at 10, CBS 13, 11. I can't imagine we're going to get much, any real changes. If anything, I think the only thing is it gets a little bit colder, a little bit quicker. We talked about that yesterday and Friday. So Friday afternoon, it's going to be pretty extreme, I think. And it only gets worse going into Friday night, Saturday morning. All right. Stay warm, everybody. And we'll have more updates coming up on CBS 13, 11, Fox 23 at 10. Christian's back tomorrow morning with some updates. And of course, I'll be in tomorrow evening. And I'll probably have my thick jacket, my hat, and my mittens. All right. Take care. Have a nice night.